Hey, welcome back to Comics Characters Chronology. I'm your host, Rhett. Let's get right into it. Alright, we're talking about Spider-Man's third appearance, which comes from the second story in The Amazing Spider-Man #1, which of course is cover dated March of 1963. Now, we talked about the cover last time, and even though the cover actually relates to this story, not the previous one, we're going to go ahead and, skip that for this time. However, may as well just call out the title page real quick, since that kicks off this story. It's pretty exciting, actually. Not a bad cover title page, but it does make one wonder if Chameleon is a giant. So there's that. Alright, let's take a quick look at the credits on this story. Alright, so for Spider-Man versus the Chameleon, we have Stan Lee on the script, pencils and inks by Steve Ditko, colors by Stan Goldberg, and letters by John Duffy. And lastly, I want to let you know a couple of different places you could find this if you're on the hunt. Marvel Masterworks, Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1, Amazing Spider-Man Omnibus Volume 1, Amazing Spider-Man Epic Collection Volume 1, or of course the Marvel Unlimited app. You can always find it there. Alright, time for a quick story summary. Peter Parker thinks that his money troubles might be able to be solved by becoming a member of the Fantastic Four. So he breaks into the headquarters, fights the team in a demonstration of his powers, and at least that's what it's supposed to be, and learns that they are in fact a charity and do not pay salaries. He's so upset by all this that before they can even offer to help, he leaves. Word of his visit spreads, and a villain named the Chameleon somehow guesses that the reason behind this was money. To him it seems self-evident. I don't know that it should be self-evident, but that's how the mind of a villain works. This leads Chameleon, who's named so for rather obvious reasons, he's kind of a master of disguise, to believe that Spider-Man, because he's desperate for money, and this is obvious to, as far as I know, only Chameleon, makes him the perfect individual to frame for a crime. So Chameleon attempts to do so, however, Spider-Man does manage to capture the villain and ensure that he is in fact caught. Alright, one quick story note here. Chameleon was, for some reason or another, able to create a gun that shot out a web like Spider-Man's, which you would think is, I don't know, if you have that kind of ingenuity, do you really need to go to all the trouble of trying to frame someone like Spider-Man and, bring him near your crime scene? Again, villains, I don't know how their minds work. Alright, and strangely, we see Peter Parker referred to a couple times in this issue as Peter Palmer. Now, the best I could research this appears to be a typo that goes all the way back to the original printing of this story. My guess is it's probably Stan, not the letterer. I think letterers are pretty good at, double checking names. My guess is Stan just got kind of, confused which P last name he gave Parker. So, Peter Palmer it is. Alright, lastly, we see some impressive web work in this issue as Spider-Man creates a giant slingshot for himself in order to pursue the Chameleon's helicopter, and then in order to float off to the balcony that he needs to land on, he throws together a quick parachute with his web while in the air. Not a surprise, I suppose, that he was out of web fluid later in the issue. Alright, that's it for this episode. So please come on back next time. We're going to talk about the Justice League's third appearance in Brave and the Bold #30. In the meantime, subscribe, like, notification bell, all those things, all YouTubers ask you to do all the time. If you could do any of those, that would be awesome. Thanks.